You're Rick. Let's run with that.
Well, I've always been Rick.
I know.
Yeah.
To be clear, his birth certificate says Rick.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. We're down here in Florida. We're in West Palm Beach, and we are at the. We're gonna do everything we can to not make this a TGL infomercial, but we did just get the full experience for the first time. Walked into the stadium, the whole thing, and we're also gonna have on this show for the very first time, Mr. Rickie Fowler is gonna be on this show.
Yeah, big one.
So we're down here doing some cool stuff. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk all about all kinds of different kind of experiences that we have had. We love having distance out there. Distance is massive. It changes everything. And the Chevy Equinox EV, it's going to help you get the distance you're looking for because we're talking an available EPA estimated 319 miles of range on a full charge.
That's far. It's going to get you where you need to be, you know?
I just drove to Hershey, Pennsylvania. We talk about it on the show, and it was less than 319 miles.
You could have gone the whole way on one charge.
Yeah, which is like, that's quite a bit of land. You're going multiple states over,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
319 miles.
You checking how far that is?
Yeah, I'm looking at
Like, how far is it from here north? Like,
bro,
like
I'm looking at. You could almost get to. You could get to Jacksonville. You could get to almost to Savannah from here.
wow.
Yeah, that's like 3-4 hours.
Savannah,
Georgia. Yeah, 319 miles. Single charge. Chevy. It's impressive.
Chevy.com/Equinox EV. That's how you go check out everything from product info to lease offers and amazing deals. The Equinox EV accommodates with comfortable seating for up to 5 people. The Equinox EV offers a roomy. They don't do any compromises on the interior, ample cargo room, and convenient storage solutions. They've got the best in-class 17.7-inch diagonal standard touchscreen display. We're here talking about how awesome big screens are. Equinox EV's got the best one. That is Chevy.com/Equinox EV. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. We can start with TGL. I think the classic go-to is like it's glorified simulator golf. Walking into the SoFi Stadium was cool as fuck today.
Yeah, it's what they're calling it, stadium golf.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. It's because the huge screen, that's going to get all the publicity. They put a normal size simulator screen in comparison on the big screen, and it's like 1/50th of it.
Yeah.
So it's whatever you think simulator golf is, it's not what you're going to see with the TGL. They've got a green that rotates. They can make it break left. They can make it break right. It's a very, very cool operation, and we were blown away.
Yeah, how will it translate to on screen and actually consuming it at home? I don't know. I think it's going to be incredible. That's my opinion of it. Being here, there is no denying it's the coolest thing that you can make in this realm of golf, where if it's not just a golf course and you want to, consolidate it to an arena where you can have actual suites and it looks like a hockey arena. It legit looks like a college arena, tight on top of the action. To try and bring golf into that world, they nailed it 100 out of 100. There's no denying that they absolutely nailed it. Walking in there, you get like the chills where your hair stands up in the back of your neck and you're like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in the game of golf. We play a ton of golf. We go to Sabonic and we've been to Augusta National and we've watched Tiger Woods tee it up at Augusta. We've seen everything golf has to offer. We've been to Pebble Beach. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. Like, we've done as much as you can do in the game of golf without actually fucking playing on the tour, right?
Yeah.
This is something we've never seen before. I said that to Riggs. I'm like, how would they figure something else out that's not like, I don't know, really, really gimmicky or, off-putting? It's perfect.
It takes a hell of a vision to piece all of it together.
Yeah.
All of it, from the crowd to the tee shot not just being into a screen, but being into a screen that's 60 times the normal screen, or whatever the hell it is, and then having 3 different layers of grass and turf, and then you get to move up, and then from there you're hitting into the screen from 100-something yards, and then from there you walk behind you, you've got your bench where you've got all the guys doing the digital caddy. You walk, the green is already rotated, it puts a light down, the skylight, you hit from there, and it's every single hole that's been specifically created for this by course architects has included this specific green that can rotate certain ways, and then it does, and then you chip. There was a part where we were filming today where I got caught between the digital world and the real world. I was like, oh, are they going to put the light down again? It's like, no, we just have to go play that ball. That
Ball's over there
in real life right now. And yeah, to do that is an incredible vision. I was also thinking about it, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, of watching the Showdown last night, which we could talk all about that. But the one thing that they continue to just miss on those is that what normal golf broadcast has is multiple groups on the course, usually like 75 players at a time in each wave, and they can cut from shot to shot to shot, and there's endless action. When you're watching a hockey game, it's endless action. And really, the only talent that you need on there is to get you from puck drop to puck drop. Same with football. It's like pretty much endless action. Maybe when they jump in the huddle for 15 seconds before they come back out of it, you need that talent to talk, but otherwise it's action, action, action. In golf, when you only have one foursome on the course at a time, they all hit in about the span of like a minute and a half. And then there's not action for like 5 minutes. They all get back in their cart, they drive up, and that's really boring. This basically cuts that out, is kind of the theory. And I'm with Frankie. I don't know exactly how it's going to translate on TV. When you walk in there, it's cool as shit. Trent lives locally. You said, like, I'm definitely coming down for these matches when they kick off.
for sure.
I want to come to some too, and I didn't feel that way necessarily beforehand, where I was like, I don't know that I'm going to fly basically all the way across the country to go to one of these matches. Now I really do. And like, Frankie, I think, mentioned it earlier too, the fact that like, you're going to have just Tiger Woods out there in front of people
Cool.
hitting shots. And then one thing that they mentioned is like, if you are one of the 1,500 fans that's in the crowd here, you don't get to see Tiger Woods up close when you go to a tournament more than maybe once or twice. And that's, you got to strategize. You got to sit 4 holes ahead, wait an hour, and then hope that he hits his ball in front of you or stand on a tee or whatever. Here, if you're in this stadium, you're watching Tiger with pretty much a front row seat the whole time, and Rory and the whole gang. And Rickie is going to be on the show. So there are a lot of cool aspects to it. No idea, again, if it'll translate. When you're in there hitting, you don't want to leave. You want to hit over and over again.
Yeah.
The gigantic screen truly is like impressive. It's fucking huge. It's like there's a reason going to IMAX, and the Sphere and all that stuff has really, really captured the imagination of people. It's because it's like this great feat of technology. And I think that screen here is pretty similar for simulator golf. It's like looking at that thing, you're just like, holy shit. You get to watch the ball fly. Frankie's first tee shot, you could see the movement on the tee shot from 35 yards away before it hit the screen.
That's insane.
It was awesome. It was like, that's where they hit the screen, and immediately takes off into the air. So, I think for trying to create some digital, like harnessing all the momentum that simulator golf has, and it's got a ton, man. Sim places are popping up everywhere into like mixing it with the best players in the world, the biggest stars. They've got TV contracts. I think it seems to be way better than I thought you could possibly do.
Yeah, the technology blows you away from start to finish. Not only the screen, but the green is outrageous. It's soft, it's forgiving.
Yeah,
the ball checks up, it rolls out. It runs out from 11 to a 13. They can move it up, they can move it, they can slow it down. As you're standing on the green, they can change the lie, and they could change the angle of where like the actual mounds are, and they can change the movement of the greens, and there's grain on the greens even though it's synthetic. The whole entire thing. They have real grass from 125 yards shot and in, and it's bizarre. It's a bizarre place. It's really weird. It's like almost unsettling how weird it is when you're in there. You're like, how is this golf? And then it just happens to be golf. We played a couple holes. We did a little showdown too for when it goes to overtime. They're going to do like closest to the pin chip offs, which is really cool.
It's like
which
elimination, like 1v1,
which is basically just like a YouTube video, which we've always been asking to see these guys in that element.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to stop. I was like begging them to get more.
It's fun.
Like it's that much fun. And that's why I keep saying I don't know how it's going to translate, because it's almost like when you go to a simulator bar, it's like the most fun night out. You're with your boys, you're having drinks, you're in this weird lighted room, and you're hitting golf shots. It's something completely different than going out and playing at a golf course in the sun, and it's just like that's what you're used to. This is like lights are hitting you, you're in the dark. It's something just strange about it. So playing there and being there is the coolest thing you can do. How will it play out on ESPN? I think it'll be great. You have Matthew Barry, you've got Scott Van Pelt, you've got a lot of people on the broadcast team that are going to really make it engaging and fun, and you got Tiger Woods playing golf, and Rory McIlroy, and fucking Matt Fitzpatrick, and Rickie Fowler. It's like
they're putting their best foot forward.
Homa kids.
I don't know how it could fail with what we saw today, but maybe it just doesn't translate. I don't know. I'm very interested to see, because I think if every person that's listening to this came to the event or came to the actual stadium and saw it, you'd be hooked forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait. Now that I hit a shot there, I can't wait to see how Tiger Woods does there.
Yeah. I agree with
cannot
that.
wait.
And there's going to be a ton of strategy. The holes were all, created specifically for this. So they're not real life holes. They're
shot
meant for
clock,
this
too.
digital world. The shot clock is a
Big time.
huge addition.
I had 1 second left as I took the club back. They
On a huge putt for par that we had.
Yeah, and they said, and even on the 3-wood shot, they said that in the actual broadcast, they would have went to a booth review to see if I would have gotten that off.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
the
cool.
shot clock is going to make a big
Bro,
difference.
40 seconds on the green is revolutionary.
Uh-huh.
You have no time. 40 seconds is nothing.
Right, like how long do you normally take to read a putt, then hit a putt?
That was as fast as I could have went.
Yep.
I had a putt, and we went to go read it. The clock started as we got onto the green.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden you're at 36 seconds before you even get to the ball.
Right.
And we're looking at this thing. I line it up for where I think. I go back to you guys. You guys say, oh, I think it's actually kind of straight. I'm like, okay. I go back. I move it. I look up at the clock. I've got 11 seconds left.
Yep.
I take a practice little stroke. I stand over the ball. I look up at the clock again because I was nervous.
You did.
I had 3 seconds
You
left.
did. The
So
second
I'm
look-
like,
The second look scared me.
Me
I was
too.
like, why is he looking at the clock? Hit the ball.
I don't know. I just wanted to know. And then I hit it with 1 second left. So it's like, I know they're not going to be doing that, but I really didn't do much from beginning till end. They do way more than that. They're reading the green. They're standing over it. They're trying to get like all their line angles.
If I could do it over again, I think we would have counted down out loud for you. So you wouldn't have had to have seen.
True.
That might distract him, though.
Yeah.
We didn't ask him. We should have, though. What's the penalty if it hits 0?
I think it's a stroke.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Wow.
That is huge.
That really is.
Yeah,
That's
there's-
like what we want implemented on the tour.
Right.
I think it's a
Legit.
stroke.
What we're looking for.
We'll have to ask. But, yeah, it's going to make those guys move.
Day packet
You got
here.
the
Let's
packet
see.
there.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like, we obviously are like really happy to be here and stuff. And it's not like these guys are like a sponsor of us or anything. Like we genuinely just think this place was cool today.
And
I think
here's
that's like
the,
biggest.
another takeaway from last night is what you got to view this from, in my opinion, as a fan.
one shot
One shot.
penalty.
Okay,
One shot
great.
penalty from
Wow.
the
That's
man.
awesome.
That's a severe penalty.
It is.
Severe.
I think the lens you should remind yourself to view this from is that this is all additive
That's right.
to current
Yeah.
professional golf that you get to witness, right? If this was like, oh, dude, the PGA Tour has eliminated half their season and they're going to this, I could understand a little bit harsher criticism. Be like, no, you're not eliminating my product that I like in replacing it with this. What if I don't like this? This is all additive. And it's the same thing from the Showdown last night, where people's first inclination, and it's been like this throughout fucking history, whenever anybody has like new ideas and is people like to shit on it immediately. People like to get out, be skeptical, be critical, be like mean about the people that have kind of the balls to try new stuff. And same deal with the Showdown last night, where it's like, you could bitch about it all you want. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. First Amendment, very popular issue in the United States of America right now. It still remains strong.
What's going on with those drones?
Stand strong, the drones and the whole thing, and the media and them settling. But Stephanopoulos. But the whole thing is, you don't have to watch it. You're not forced to replace it with anything. This is all additive. All of it is additive.
The first
It's
match
just-
is Tuesday, January 7th on ESPN at 9 p.m. What are you doing on a Tuesday at 9 p.m.? You know what I mean? Like
Watch the TGL.
Well, it's like you're saying. They're not forcing it down your throat for something that you were used to. Oh, bring back golf. I don't want
Correct.
this.
Right, it's not Sunday at noon.
No, you're gonna get Sunday at noon, and then you're also the next day you're gonna be able to watch Rory go from Sunday to this,
to Tuesday night,
which is
he's
insane.
smacking into that
God,
screen.
their schedules, that's insane. But yeah,
Yeah, so that's a big part of it for me. And again, we could talk a little bit about the Showdown last night too, but it was like, there are a lot of parts of it that could have gone better. There's a lot of parts of it that, in my opinion, they continue to like not nail. But at the end of the day, it's like I sat there. I was traveling all day, so towards the end of my flight, during the drive, I got to listen to it, and then once I got back to my hotel room, I got to for like an hour and a half watch it. And I'm watching Scotty and Rory and Brooks and Bryson play under the lights for $10 million. You could tell Bryson took out his earpiece at one point because you could tell he was struggling and really wanted to win. And it's like Scotty and Rory are laughing, chopping it up in their cart, and then they cut to the live cart, and they were like two miserable fucks in there. Bryson's got his jacket on. Like, that's just more golf content with those 4 guys than I would have otherwise gotten. So it's like, how is that negative? Again, it's negative. I understand criticism once you get to the point of accepting that, like, okay, I'm here, I watched it, now I'm going to critique it, how it could be better, whatever. But in terms of being like, this is just a waste of time, whatever, it's like, well, it's additive to everybody's life that consumes
we
golf
still
content.
want a good product. It could
Definitely.
be a waste. Like if they
Definitely.
keep putting out a shit product, it's like,
That-
well, it's just additive. It's like, well, no, like
That's the issue.
you can say about anything.
and
Like the
it
movie you went to, you didn't have to go to, but like if it sucked, it's like it was a huge waste of time.
Criticize it for sure. I think what I get is like people criticize it from a standpoint of like, they shouldn't even do these.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
that to me is like, well, what do you mean? Like, what if
Yeah.
if
That's
other people
true.
like it, why would you just want to take this away from people that
Right.
like this?
Yeah, I guess our issue is probably they keep doing them and they keep doing it wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's where I think criticism is fair.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. I watched the whole thing last night. I'm going to sit on this podcast and criticize it for sure. But I sat there for 4 hours and I watched those 4 guys play golf.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I enjoyed parts of it, but yeah, there's still parts where you're just like, they're not. It's the exact thing you said, and it's what TGL is going to get rid of. It's that moment after they hit the tee shot and they got to go to their ball, especially when they're walking. You don't get much out of them. And they're professional golfers. Like, they're not supposed to be funny and entertaining. Now, some of them are, but, a couple of those guys are not that way. They're just out there to play really good golf.
Yeah, and if you had like Shane Gillis just walking around for 4 hours straight, I don't know that he would be unimaginably entertaining the entire 4 hours. Now you're asking these pro golfers to do that.
Yeah.
That's just not the case. And so the way they try to supplement it or replace is have a million personalities on the coverage, which then flips it the other way where it's too chaotic. It's like when those guys start to sense, like that whole crew from Bubba to Trevor to Chuck, they all start to sense like this isn't that great. Well, then the players also sense it at the same time. So then they all kind of start talking at the same time. And it's like you kind of need 1 or 2 people to steer that ship, right? And like drive it and drive the entire broadcast from like a commentary standpoint and ask the questions, get this stuff going versus when you got a million different people talking, you kind of aren't getting enough as you want out of the players. So then Chuck starts to take over, which he's still the best, by the way.
Oh.
But it's like you've got then, but it's too much when they don't need that much. And then it's nothing when they need a little bit.
Right. There were more than a few times where the commentators would be talking and the guys in the cart would be talking to each other. And it's like, I want to hear what they're saying.
Right.
But you're right. It got to the point early on where they weren't saying anything to each other. So now the announcers feel like they got to talk, but now the guys are getting more comfortable with each other, or they're winning or they're losing. So that's starting to sort of come out of them.
Yep.
And they just didn't adjust fast enough. So yeah, you got David Faraday or Charles Barkley talking over the guys who we really want to hear. So listen, it's definitely not an easy thing to produce and put together and put on. But it certainly has its flaws.
It's got its flaws. I think they need to understand that they need at least, I think, 2 groups playing.
Yeah.
Because then you can stagger it to where like pretty much you can always at any given time
action.
cut to a shot.
Yeah.
And there they've got a several minute stretch where they don't have any action. That would be, that's like if in a hockey game it was like every 2 minutes they went to intermission. You're just like, well, no,
Right.
what do you mean? There's got to be some action coming imminently, and there's just not.
And the live guys got boat raced.
Killed.
Like, they just didn't play very well. Rory played great. Scotty played great. And they just sort of dusted them right out of
It's
the building.
funny, like we have had a couple meetings recently about like production and putting on matches and stuff. And we met with someone that was actually using the Showdown as an example of how they did how they were structuring it and how it was impossible to like not be close. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Like,
they
well,
got
they're like,
very
oh,
unlucky.
when you look at the Showdown, like that's something that you could take away because like the way that's structured, it's always gonna come down to the end with those guys because
Right.
you have a bunch of different formats, alternate shot brings out whatever, blah blah blah, and it was unwatchable towards the end. No
That
one
was-
cared.
that was a
Bryson
bummer
didn't
for
say a
them.
word for the last like hour and a half.
Yeah,
He was wearing that ridiculous coat. It's just like
that is a bit of bad luck for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the first match legitimately, I disagree with him too. They could have done the format, I think, in a way that would have even raised the chances that you can't have it be a dud competitively.
Yeah.
And like the way they did the first match, it was like over after 4 holes.
It was just
So they
best
didn't
ball.
even play the last 2. And then the last match, the fact that they didn't have them just play out the singles matches for something is crazy. Because
Yeah.
like,
It was just over.
that's what I mean. There were still, and the 2 best holes at Shadow Creek, I think Colt knows, was tweeting about this. 2 best holes at Shadow Creek are that 17th hole and the 18th hole are like unbelievably cool holes. They didn't even play them, and they didn't even play them not because the whole thing necessarily set. It's like the last two matches were at a point where they were going to tie at worst case, and those guys are guaranteed points. It's like, okay, so play out those singles matches.
Play 'em.
Like, you don't think, and you shouldn't have, okay, what's 10 million in crypto to these guys? Let's say 8 million's locked up in the overall, and then there's a 1 million that you're playing for in your singles match. And then do those on the DraftKings, right? They're all doing the DraftKings. It's like, so the last two holes hype up the fact that, like, this singles match is at this odds.
Yeah.
This person bet on this singles match. Instead, they both just ended in like a tie, and they shook hands on 16. Was nuts. The air's frosty. My schedule's packed. Fridge is stuffed, which means one thing. 'Tis the season for the perfect gene.
Ooh, I just got my perfect gene in.
Is it
Just
perfect?
Came in. It's incredible. It really is. Stretchy, breathable. They feel like sweatpants almost, but they're
Ooh.
jeans. They look great too. Not even messing around. They're great.
You got to have a great gene, and the perfect gene has saved 400,000 men's nuts
Yeah, I noticed that.
from
Your
suffocating.
nuts feeling good?
Yeah, it's something like you've never felt before. You can't believe you're wearing jeans.
Whoa.
Yeah,
And they look just like jeans.
they are jeans.
Wow.
The perfect gene, really.
Dude, they're jeans, but it's
They're
wild.
perfect.
These jeans will be your MVP for the holidays.
That's
They
true.
stretch enough to handle holiday feasts, are comfy enough to wear during movie marathons or on football Sundays, and are so cozy you'll forget you're wearing pants.
Dude, I'm telling you.
This is your experience.
Yes.
Are you on something right now, or are you just on the perfect gene?
You're buzzing off the perfect gene.
It's funny because I just wore these and I said all these things to my wife. I'm like, I can't believe these are jeans. I'm not. Yeah. It's funny.
That is important. A perfect pair of jeans is very important.
It's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectgene.nyc. Our listeners, that's you guys out there right now, get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use our code FORE15, FORE15 at checkout. That is 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc. Use the promo code FORE15 after your purchase. They'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Fuck your khakis and get the perfect gene. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Kraken. You know, if you're looking to add crypto assets to your portfolio, Kraken's your place to go. Look, I am the proud owner of one Bitcoin.
Whoa.
Good for you. Over
Nate-
100K.
Nate Dogg convinced me to buy one years ago.
In the old office, that he was putting out clips when Bitcoin hit 100K. He was putting out old clips from the old office of him imploring people to buy Bitcoin when it was at, like, I don't know, 12K or something.
I like a little versatility in life,
Okay.
you know, and crypto it's very versatile, man. But over the long run, you know, I was watching the fellow there that was on Davey Day Trader Global talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I can never remember his full name, but he's like the largest, you know, second largest Bitcoin owner in the world, him and his firm. And he was talking all about Bitcoin. I was thinking about the fact that when I first got in on that bad boy was at like, whatever it was, $26,000 or something like that.
Sure.
And then over the next like 2 years, it never really went higher than like 30 and went down to 16, whatever. And then over the last year, it has gone up over $100,000. And it has been a fantastic ride. And a big thanks to Kraken, because by everything that I'm seeing, people are believing in crypto, man.
Crypto's the future.
I'm actually, now that I'm several years into owning one, I'm starting to actually learn about it
Yeah.
with some of these interviews. And if you're new to crypto, investing and trading, Kraken's the perfect place to tee off on your crypto journey. I love that their educational resources are just a click away and award-winning support's available 24/7, 365. It's like having a team of caddies guiding you through every single shot. Go to kraken.com/barstool. That is Kraken, KRAKEN.com/barstool. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers, excluding Washington, New York, and Maine, through Payward Interactive Incorporated.
The real problem is that no one gave a fuck about the money.
Nobody.
You're
Yep.
picking the 4 richest guys out there.
This is Dave's point.
So they really were relying on everyone buying into Live versus PGA, and they were like 3 years too late to it.
Oh, so
like,
late to
that's
it.
just like a bunch of people in boardrooms that just got it wrong.
Right.
I'm sorry to like say it so bluntly.
No,
but it's like,
dude, the same thing happened with the Bryson and Brooks match a couple years ago.
they got to stop. Brooks and Bryson are just not a
Well,
thing
that was my main
anyone
takeaway.
gives a
man.
fuck about anymore.
My main takeaway from that.
Brooks went on Part of My Take and like made fun of Bryson for like 4 years in a row. And now he's like, well, people can change. Like, now I got to know him. It's like, you're just trying to sell this thing. You hate the guy.
Well, I
you're
was
probably texting guys behind, like, come on, dude.
My main takeaway last night was they do not like each other.
100%.
They have.
Of course, I could show you a million links.
No, I know, but I'm saying what you're saying,
Yeah.
where they have sort of patched this over. They each got whatever $150 million from Liv or whatever. So it all the real like public hatred, they're just kind of like whatever. But when you watch them in a card together, they have no chemistry. And they like Scotty and Rory, for whatever it's worth, like it wasn't a great broadcast, but they are talking, they're going back and forth, they're talking about creatine, they're winning, so they're happier. But when the Bryson Brooks team is losing and they have no chemistry, it's just two guys in a cart driving. It would be like if you put a camera in a cart for two guys who were just out there to play a normal Saturday round.
Yeah.
Like
Got paired up as singles.
Right. When we play and we put cameras in the carts, like, you know, we're going to have conversations because we know that like what to do. Those guys, they're just like, nope, I'm going to sit and I'm going to drive to my ball. And that's it. No chemistry. Zero.
No, they had none. It didn't help that they started off like basically getting dusted right away. They were not making any putts. And then, yeah, you can tell that like they just don't. It's not even like. Yeah, I do think that I think more than anything, I think Brooks just does not like Bryson. He just doesn't like him.
They're
can
different
sense that.
guys.
And they're very different. That's what I was going to say. They just have wildly different personalities. They're not going to sit in there and jive. Unless maybe they're winning, they'd be giggly and all that. And they had the one moment where they won a hole in the alternate shot or something with a birdie, and they're finally chit-chatty in the cart for like a second. But they're just not buddies. They're not,
which is
like,
fine.
And that's fine in life.
Matching them
But
up, like
exactly. When you match them up, it's like, there's just nothing. They're not really
And I
like
mean,
talking to each other through shots that much. They're
I
just
get
sort
what
of
he's
like,
saying, Brooks, where it's like, I mean, we've done this with a million players, so I don't want it to come off like I'm like completely blind to like we hate people or we have like criticisms of them, and then they come on the show and all of a sudden we're best friends with them, right?
That's
like
us, baby.
we've had that with Bryson, literally, like where I don't know that we've ever went out there and said that we hated him or that we had such like public, riffs with him as Brooks has had. But I guess I can see what he's saying, where it's like once you are around a guy way more often, of course you're going to be a little bit more cordial with him, which
Sure.
we've always said. So I guess
think cordial's the good word, but I don't think he likes him.
no, the problem is that they tried to sell us on the fact that it was going to be like Brooks and Bryson are best
Yeah.
buds because they're
Yep.
rallying around the Saudi regime and like and Live
Right.
versus PGA Tour. It's like this is it. Like they're going to do this. Meanwhile, they don't give a fuck about that either. Sorry to all the people that are getting lied to on fucking TNT, but like no one gives a fuck.
No, dude.
They don't give a fuck about Live. The other guys don't give a fuck about the PGA Tour. They were making so much goddamn money. No one gives a fuck.
It's true.
No one gives a fuck.
It's true.
Do we have to be on this side of the world of media to understand and like let people know that no one gives a fuck? They don't care, dude.
No, I know.
They don't care about those matches.
I think people watching last night know too.
They don't care, and that's not that crazy to think. They don't give a shit. That's why Dave Portnoy wants to
Yes.
give millions of dollars out to Jersey Jerry's of the world to go out there with their heart pounding in their fucking throat with asshole leakage, standing over a 10-foot putt being like, if I don't make this, I'm going to fucking die.
It's true. And I think
That's the only way this game's going to get intense. This game stinks in like in that format. It's like it's not that exciting. It's not a one-on-one like back a guy down into the paint and dunk on him. It's fucking golf.
the thing
No one gives a fuck.
right, the thing if the guys are all rich, the thing you need is real animosity.
You're
And
not
that
getting that in
doesn't
golf.
exist. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like the Ryder Cup, that works but it's
a
and
team.
people I know people try to replicate what's going on in the Ryder Cup, but if you don't have real stakes or real animosity or a real chance to make life-changing money, the guys involved are not going to care.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And they
It's just set up for them to fail. Like it's a really, really difficult sport to make intense like that. Unless you're at the Ryder Cup, like you're saying, where there's like history and there's 100,000 people there
Yes.
screaming for your country. That's way different. Dude, in that sense, like you can make ping pong the most intense thing of all time because you put it at the Olympics and guys are playing for their
Yes.
country where people have like died for that fucking flag. That's a little bit different than playing at Shadow Creek
Well-
for $10 million in cryptocurrency.
Well, and this is where the criticism part comes in. They keep trying to run it back.
Yeah.
They keep trying to do it. They never learn. The Wayne Gretzky match was a 0.
0.
This was a 0 in my eyes.
Shout out to my guy Wayne winning that battle.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna win it is when they alluded
Took
to
me
it. I don't
down,
know if it
I'm
was
down.
I don't know who said it. It may have been Chuck or whatever, but like go out there and do a Ryder Cup Live versus PGA. That would work. Where it's like legit animosity of like league versus league, huge teams, 12v12, whatever it is. Like you actually go out there, you draft your teams, you have a huge opening night party of the draft and everything, and we're locked in. We're picking who should be on each team. That's where it would work. Where it's like that there is something there. But this is
well,
like
in those scenarios, you need the agents of chaos. Like you need Patrick Reed. You're like, these 4 guys in particular are the richest and the best.
Yeah.
So they're just like, yeah, this is great.
Also, it's a, everyone knows it's an appearance fee event anyways. So it's not like Scotty and Rory didn't make $10 million and Bryson and Brooks made 0.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they all were guaranteed X amount up front just for doing it. If the stakes were like, hey, these guys are the winning team gets 10 or 15 million dollars, a losing team, you're taking 3 days out of your winter break.
They pay it.
And you get nothing, or you pay it or something.
Bro.
Exactly.
You pay them.
Brooks
Now-
having to give Scotty $10 million would be outrageous.
And no bullshit. No like sponsor dollars, nothing.
It's got to come straight from his live deal.
The check has to have Brooks Koepka's bank numbers on
That's
it.
what we were going to do with the original Whitney match.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then I remember somebody floating being like, especially for me at the time, it was like, I did $10,000 we were going to play for in like 2018 or something.
Insane.
People are like, he doesn't have that money. And Dave's like, exactly. That's why the match is going to be phenomenal. And they're like, well, can't you come up with sponsorship dollars that would cover it? It's like, no, it's got to come out of your pocket. And that's true. And now those guys would never do it. You'd never be able to get them to sign up for this. But those stakes, if you had to watch Bryson and Brooks hand those guys $5 million each, are you kidding?
This is why podcasts work, because we've been talking about it for like 20 minutes and we finally came to a conclusion.
We were all around
This is
it.
an answer.
Yeah, and this is what happens when it gets filtered through so many people in so many rooms where it's like, no, we're going to give him $10 million in crypto because that's the sponsor. Like when with our thing and with that Dave is at the head of, he's like, this is what it is. This is why it's this way, and this is why it's going to work. And it's going to come all from him, and that's why it's going to be awesome. The showdown and the matches, it goes through so many rooms and so many people that by the time you get to the end of it, it's like a game of it's like a corporate game of telephone where it's like, there's really actually no stakes.
And just to reiterate, like we're not saying that the idea of doing this is bad. They're just not. No one gives a fuck about the way that they're doing it,
including the people in it.
Correct. So like the additive idea and what we've been saying this whole time, where it's like having something on a Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whatever it might be, is good for golf. It's great. Just fix it. Like figure out how to make it more entertaining.
Yeah.
We've said this all along about a lot of stuff that we've done, from our video series to honestly the Barstool Classic. And I think with the Barstool Classic, one of the key threads that's kept it as cool as it is that the players have to care. Like people need to be there and like care about the whole event. Care about how fun it is to be there and involved, and then care to a degree about play and like trying to play well. And that's the point of having a handicap to a degree. Sure, there's probably 20% or so that think they don't have much of a chance, but I guarantee you they all think they have some kind of a chance to advance. And that's what makes it awesome, is that you at some level care. It's like when we used to do these travel series videos and stuff, you couldn't help but be like, when we get out there and over the course of 3 or 4 or 5 straight days of playing, whether it was usually me and Trent against Frankie and Lurch, it's like you eventually are just like competitive human being. It's like, fuck them, I want to win.
Yeah,
I'm sick of that rules bullshit they had on that one, or they're chirping me about my tee shots. Like, fuck them, Trent, I just want to win. And that just delivers better content everywhere. Like people have to care. And Dave, I know he's talked about it quite a bit on the Unnamed Show, if people haven't listened to that, but like we are making serious progress with this whole idea of coming up with YouTube golf, Barstool Golf, the Good Goods of the world, and Bob does, and Grant, and everybody, and like making the biggest, coolest event that we can. Dave obviously basically knee-jerk reaction fired off saying he would put $1 million towards it months ago, and we've had a ton of calls, and you're right, Dave's kind of entire ethos throughout the whole thing has been like, I only want people who the money matters a lot to. And it's true. If you come down to the wire, you're in this event, and we're trying to get it through each stage of the event, through each elimination of the event, but like you're going to have shots where it's like, this is the difference between me and my crew, my team, making what's going to end up being more than $1 million or not. That is a hilarious amount of money to make in a week of, that's life. Basically at this level, that's like going to change your life.
That's right.
At this stage in everybody's life. And that's That's something you can be nervous for. It's like, dude, if I got this nervy little 30-yard chip here, if I can get this close and let my guy have a huge putt, like we stay alive. Or that's the difference between us making $0 this week and we can make $1 million between four of us or whatever the hell it is. Like,
It's
that's
such a good
insane.
idea.
Yeah, and it's not even just the money aspect. It's like putting the right people in the mix that will make it entertaining. When you watch Surviving Barstool, yeah, there's money at the end of it, and we want to know who wins it, and we want to see who's going to lift the trophy and get $250,000, whatever it is in Surviving Barstool. Ton of money, life-changing. But we watch each week, and we watch each episode to see all the drama within each episode. You're not even thinking about the ending. You're just watching, like, Gilly going after Whitney or whatever it might be, like Whitney going after Dave or Jersey Jerry and Clemmer. You're not even thinking about the ending when you're watching each thing. So that's what, like, the match and Showdown, that's what they have to figure out. And I think that's what we're going to do with our thing. It's like, you're going to figure out how to make it entertaining. You're going to put it into, you're going to package it and format it into a way where if you're watching this, you just want to watch it to watch it. Sure. Like, cause the person sitting down in Bismarck, North Dakota is like, at the end of the day, I want someone to win $1 million. That's unbelievable. But like, why am I investing this much time watching it? I want to make it entertaining.
But what makes that entertaining is that you can sense that person cares.
That's a whole part of it for sure. But you can't that can't be the only thing. So I guess my point is like you're picking guys that just genuinely don't care. They don't care about the money, but they also don't care to make it entertaining.
That's right.
They didn't give a shit. Like the guy came out of the crowd yesterday to go putt, and it was like no one gave a fuck about that either. Like they gave him the putter. It was like awkward.
Yeah.
He missed the putt. Like Brooks and Bryson weren't even on the green at that point. They like left. It was just like everything was quiet. They had no like background music. It was dead
so quiet.
There was like 19 people following this crew. It was just weird. I don't know. And the broadcast team did as good as they could. Like obviously we love Trevor Immelman. We love fucking Chuck and hearing David Faraday back with those guys was
so
awesome. Like, he was great.
He's great.
Like that part was entertaining for sure. I mean, I watched it. It's not like it was something that I like couldn't watch, but I don't know. It's
Like, real crowds would help too.
Real crowds.
Like
definitely.
that wasn't.
about that.
That
I was thinking
wasn't.
about that.
That felt like a very. Those crowds. It's
I've
like
been a part of that crowd.
Yeah.
In 2018, I was in that
remember
crowd.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Me and Jake
it's
Bass.
corporate, and you'd special invite. And
How do you get it to the point where they're like fist bumping, going crazy, like losing their mind, like Joey LaCava running in someone's face and waving a hat, crazy? How do you get something to
hard.
be in prime time to get that intense?
It's hard.
I know you can't fabricate it. I know you can't force it. And I guess the other thing
Closest
is
we're gonna get is them taking each other's money.
that would be it.
It's close
And
as
like
you can
someone
get.
being an asshole, not worrying about their reputation,
I know.
being like, "Fucking pay me."
You
know
that's
what I
what you
mean?
need.
Like-
You need a couple. You need at least one, maybe a couple guys like that, and those four just aren't those guys.
I honestly thought we were gonna get it because Bryson did like give a little jab at Rory, and obviously it was like a brouhaha, whatever you want to call it, and like when they were hitting on the range, where he said
It's a chuckle fuck fest.
it was a
It's just
What
like
is
grab ass.
grab ass.
Biz calls it what, tummy sticks.
This
They're
is
playing,
right.
they're playing tummy sticks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when Rory was like, "I'm gonna get back at you for what you did to me
and
at
he's like,
Pinehurst."
"You did it to yourself," which like is a
Good
pretty
line, by
nice
the way.
dig. Like
It's great.
even if it's premeditated
It's a
or
good
it's
line.
fucking stupid, it's like that's as good as you're gonna get really between two athletes of you being like, "Yeah, actually, you choked." It's like on a microphone being like, "Actually, I didn't win anything. You just blew it."
I know, but
That's
it's
as close as we're gonna get.
And
Unless
then
you're gonna
honestly,
get,
it was
fists.
almost like they sensed that was too hot and they didn't want to step into that world yesterday or 2
Yeah.
days ago, and then stayed away from it the next 2 days.
I thought we were gonna get it.
I know.
because Rory was like weird after he said that. He kind
That's
of
what I
looked at
mean.
Scotty,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Whoa." Like they should have did that all day.
I thought they were
Call
gonna.
them broke boys because they didn't sign. Like they should have been. Brooks and Bryson had the chance to really come in and be like
Yeah.
the bad boys.
Yeah, and then honestly, Rory and Scotty. Rory could have fired back pretty hard at Bryson. Been like, "Yeah, you only got twice as many majors to go. You'll catch me." Like he has shit to
Gotta
fire
go
back
back
at
and
him for
forth.
sure.
And you're asking
This is
them to be
fan
like
fiction
mean.
that we're writing right
Yeah, we
now.
could
You're
have-
asking them to be
Fuck
mean.
it, it's
You could've
never
roasted
gonna
about
happen.
Ryder
You're
Cup,
asking them to be mean and like different and like not care about their reputation, but that's what you got to do if you sign up for something like this.
I'm with you.
People that sign for Surviving Barstool are signing up to be hated by the people watching them. People that sign for The Bachelor that go up there and you got to like knock out whatever. You got to send home 50 women out of 51, whatever the number is. Like
Yeah.
you're going to end up being a fucking asshole. You're signing up to be in the limelight. You're signing up to make $10 million in crypto. You got to entertain. You got to. You could have just stayed home. Like Rickie Fowler or someone, like where we don't even know what this guy. We're gonna talk to him in a little bit. You don't even know what this guy's been up to. Like I don't care. Like he's not getting in trouble. He's not getting his. No one knows his personality. He's not getting in fights because he's not putting himself out there. He just wants to be behind closed door.
They do it, but they don't want to be controversial.
Can't be
and
that
surviving
much.
Barstool Reddit happens too because it's like you're taking people, basically putting them in the most extreme and heightened world that they already live in and are pretty good at.
Yeah.
And then delivering. Like that's pretty much what everybody that's in that show does. And even honestly watching the 3 or 4 people that really weren't that invested in the show were like the most boring, it's like a lot of the more boring stuff when it's like they're not playing the game. You
got to buy in.
You got to buy in. That's what makes it really entertaining. These guys, you are taking them, putting them in a different world than they actually live in. And expecting.
Right, it's golf, but it's not.
It's not.
I don't
it's
even blame
entertainment,
them.
Right.
No, I don't.
I don't.
Actually,
Just who they are.
Who the hell, if somebody came to you and said you're going to make at least a couple million or 500K or whatever it is for 2 days of work, and then you have a chance to make another 10 million in crypto, all you got to do is show up and play golf for one night, and then you got to do a fucking clinic the day before where you might get roasted by Bryson. Like, who's not doing that?
They're not putting them in like situations that they're uncomfortable with. Like we played in that creator event at the PGA Tour championship, and like I hit that first drive and I screamed out loud because I got it down the middle of the fairway because it was my first time.
I made it into
on
the end
TV.
of your video, by the way.
I made it in the end of your video with Monahan when he's searching for a new CEO. I would lost my mind because I was put into a situation in which I've never been before, and the moment
And you delivered.
felt big to me. We have yet to find a match where the moment feels big to these guys. That is where I will end it. We can go around in circles a million times talking about it. We've yet to find that. The idea is good. We've yet to 10 million. They could put $100 million. These guys have more money than God. It's over.
Scotty
the money.
won 9 events.
The money's done. Money is done with these guys. Enough. You got to put I don't know, children on
Do
the
it.
line or
I
something.
was
I don't
gonna
know.
say-
We
I
got to
said
get
do it.
something on the line here. You know what I mean? Obviously not. That's a joke. Don't make a clip of that.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Don't make a clip of that.
All these guys
Foreplay Pod says only children should be put up
as
whatever.
I don't know.
Collateral. I don't even know what
I
the
don't
word
know.
Sacrifice
is.
to the gods.
money to these
Golf
guys.
matches
really,
aren't intense enough.
These guys all have.
Some people still know how to.
they've
do
all-
They're
their
getting paid
business.
anyways. That's my other thing.
It's true.
They're not playing for money. Like there's a little bit of difference, but
Yeah, no,
they're getting paid.
no,
we know they're all getting
It sucks
paid.
ass.
Roy probably has $600 million.
It sucks ass. He's playing this TGL thing, man. They're making so much fucking money. It's crazy.
Money is sick.
Money's great.
Yeah, but it doesn't make entertaining.
You know?
No, it is, but it doesn't. But if you have it, it doesn't make
the
you
world
want
is
it.
kind of just boring. There's really not that much to it. It's let's do this big thing. You're gonna win money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just there's
But
not
it's all how you frame it. Who's
I know,
making the money?
I
Bro,
know.
think
I
about
know.
the Romans. They put them in and they're like, you're playing for your life here. You might get eaten by a tiger while
Yeah,
you're fending off
those
a
are
fucking
real
Maximus
stakes.
Decimus
Those are real
Meridius.
stakes.
Those are real.
But
That's
I
what I'm
guess that
saying.
kind of
They brought naval
playing at
ships
the
in
creator
there.
events like being in the Roman Coliseum, but that was the big moment in my life. It had nothing to do. We actually lost money on that. We spent however much on a rental
right
car
we
and a
did.
hotel and a
I
flight.
think everybody did. Fucking what? Fat Perez got a Blackstone.
Yeah, I mean that was a joke.
Mhm.
They gave the winners a Blackstone.
Councilman says Blackstone was a joke.
Yeah. They know
That's
it.
actually a good
Of
one. They
course
could put
they
that
know.
out.
They
Of
could put
course
that
they
out.
know.
It was a joke. I said
We
it to
are on
them.
that council.
I said, well, I was like, if we're gonna be on this council, we're not we're not getting these things again. That's crazy. I didn't even get one. Did you get one?
No, I want
We
one.
shouldn't
though.
even say that name. Black that out. A lot of Hershey's talk on this show.
That's right.
A lot of Hershey talk, from the town to the history and all the way to the deliciousness of the one protein bars. These are huge for me, man. 18 grams of protein, 3 grams of sugar, all that stuff's fine because you can find stuff out there. You can find stuff out there that has protein and sugar. You can't find stuff out there that's truly delicious to consume.
Put them in your golf bag.
Yeah.
Put them in your golf bag.
Yeah. Don't let them melt.
Well, don't let them melt.
So use your head, use your brain.
Be smart.
Put them in maybe you throw a little ice pack in there. You have those insulated spots of your golf bag,
Yeah.
so you can put your drink in there. What I do is I take a little ice pack, I throw it in there, and then I put all my snacks in there, so
Bang.
it doesn't get
Or if
get
If
melted.
you're at a place that's got golf cart that's got the little side cooler on there, just throw it
That's
on top of
perfect
that
too.
ice.
Throw it on
Then-
ice. Oh my god, so good.
5th hole, 8th hole, 12th hole, you're going to find that thing and be like, oh, wow, I need this. The one bars, they are delicious. 3 grams of sugar, 18 grams of protein. these things are amazing.
And they're so accessible to go out and get them. You go to your local store, you get a box of them. For me, it's like having them on my kitchen counter for when I am going to the golf course, when I am going somewhere that I don't have time to eat breakfast and I want to have something that has a lot of protein in it and it's not bad for me. It only has 3 grams of sugar. It's getting you going. It's just like getting you going for the day.
Yep.
I eat these things. It's getting to the point now when I'm in a car, like I'm like reaching for a 1 protein bar because of how often I'm eating one in the morning. Pavlovian. It really is. Like I'm constantly bringing one. Like I know my morning routine is as I walk out the door, I grab one.
Yep.
Because it just gets you going.
1 Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers protein bar and 1 Hershey's Cookies in Creme. They've also got other delicious flavors like birthday cake, maple glazed donut, and blueberry cobbler. Go try the new 1 Hershey's bars. Golf is simple for us. It's a chance to get out there, have some fun with our friends. Inevitably, things can have a way of ruining it. It could be cart path only. It could be the group being really slow in front of you. It could just be a horrific effort out of you in terms of your performance. It could be the bev cart nowhere to be found. When you find yourself stressing out over golf like this, Fireball Whiskey and their 50 milliliter shooters are the place to turn to help.
The shooters are great. They were a huge part of our match with Joel Dahmen, which is coming out today.
Yep.
A lot of fun on the golf course. We love drinking fireballs on the golf course. But I've talked about this a lot during the holiday season. I've got 3 parties at my house. I've got one on the Friday before. I got one on Friday.
So Borelli hat trick.
Got one on Friday. I got one on Christmas Eve, and then I got one on the 28th. And I am stockpiling as much Fireball as I possibly can. These are drinking events. These are events that you're going to need to have a lot of alcohol.
Holidays, baby.
It's a holiday season.
Dude, and being able to
up,
toss a little 50 milliliter shooter at one of my buddies, one of my uncles, one of my aunts, you're just like, they're catching joy because they know when they get this in their mouth, you're getting that cinnamon flavor, that hot burn. Ooh.
Burns so
and if
good.
they're losing their motor skills and they miss it, it's not going to hurt that much.
No, it's perfect, dude. I'm telling you.
No glass involved.
When you're doing your holiday shopping for your party that you're about to have, grab a bunch of these 50 milliliter shooters. You're going to enjoy passing these things out.
If you're really feeling like up in the ante on the course this weekend or over the holidays the next couple weeks, make sure you grab the new Fireball Birdie Shot Club. It is literally a golf club filled with Fireball nips. Fireball is the birdie shot of golf. It's the #1 shot in the USA.
In the last 2 weeks, we've been councilmen and Frankie and I were panelists.
Oh,
What'd you
yeah,
guys
we
do as
were
panelists?
panelists, man.
We did pretty good.
Explain this to me, because I know going in, nobody really knew what to expect.
Trent and I went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, in the middle of the country of Pennsylvania. We saw some snow. Crazy
snowing when
drive back for me, by the way. Just like the craziest fog and rain you've ever seen in your
Snowing
entire
when
life.
I landed.
Almost died. Felt
You
like I was in
had
Jack Frost.
Did you have a longer commute than Trent?
Going there for sure.
Yeah.
Coming home, I flew. But I felt like I was in the middle of Jack Frost. You know, that's such a sad beginning to the movie. You guys have been watching it?
It's been a long time. No, I haven't seen it.
I mean, it's a Christmas movie. Is it Jack Frost or is it just Frost?
I think it's Jack Frost.
I mean, it's a Christmas movie and like no spoilers, but like the dad passes away within the first 10 minutes of the movie. And you're like, oh my God. I mean, this movie came out in the fucking 90s, dude.
It's also the first 10 minutes. It's not the end of the movie.
Right. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like you're crying. And I think Landslide plays.
It's a great song.
Like, it's as sad of a beginning of a movie. It's that and Up are the 2 saddest beginnings to movies that you could possibly have for a children's movie. It's crazy.
Well, I'm glad you made it home.
Anyway, we went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, because we have a partnership with One Bars, protein bars, with Hershey. They're obviously made with our delicious partnership, Reese's chocolate.
Oh, so good.
And
It's
cookies and
interesting
cream.
that Hershey is named as the town, too. Did that come
They own the
after?
whole thing, dude. It's crazy.
Town had to come first.
Hershey
right?
Country Club. No,
You know what I'm saying? Some people take that shit over.
We don't think the
man.
town came first.
I think they've built the town.
That's what I was
Oh, I
wondering.
thought Hershey, Pennsylvania was a place, and then they were like, "This is where we started, so we're gonna name."
I
The
could
company
be
that."
wrong.
Can you get to a point where they...
I think they named the
Where you're
chocolate
like-
bar after a town.
Yeah,
Really?
I would think so.
No,
Wouldn't you?
I thought that originally, too, but now the more I think about it, I mean, that's kind of a... No, I guess that would make more sense.
Town's got it. Like if it were, you know, whatever the name of the town is, I think that would be the name of the chocolate company.
You know what's interesting is if you ever think, like, how simplified they kept it back in the day, like New York. Like, they came over here like, we have a York. Let's go with New
This is a
York.
new one.
Mhm.
Well, that's how I think about Iowa City and Iowa. They're like, what
Yeah.
should we name this town? It's a city in Iowa, Iowa City.
Let's go Iowa City.
You got to think Hershey,
New-
Pennsylvania.
You guys
was a
got
place.
anything for us?
New England. They were like, this is a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
New Mexico.
That's got
The lack of creativity is
Bro, they
appalling.
love that word new. Like, how do you describe this place? Well, it's new. All right.
This is interesting. Just a quick overview. Hershey is just east of Pennsylvania state capital, Harrisburg. The Hershey Story Museum chronicles the community's creation as a model town for the workers at Milton Hershey's chocolate factory. Hershey Park
I was
opened in
gonna say, I think it's in
1907.
Milton. I think it was Milton.
Milton Hershey.
Milton,
Yeah.
shout out to Office Space.
Oh,
Opened
I
in
saw Milton
1907.
around all the place.
Yeah.
Buildings that said Milton on.
All right,
like
so they named
Stapler.
the town
At the
after the
same
guy.
time. It was at the same time.
Name-
Founded Hershey, Pennsylvania as the site of his chocolate factory in 1903.
Oh, so yeah, I guess it is.
Town was first.
No, he founded the Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Sounds like it was the same time, actually.
Yeah, but I think what you meant was like, hey, I made this chocolate bar. What town am I in? It's
That is
Hershey.
what I meant. That
I'm
is
gonna
what I
write
meant.
Hershey on the front of it.
Wouldn't that be logically
Be like
normally
Borelli's
the case?
being called East Meadow,
Borelli's being called East Meadow. Yes.
which is not how things work.
Yeah.
I would have
East
thought.
Meadows?
I think Hershey's so big that they're like this whole town, all the workers, all the factories. This is now Hershey. They have a park. They got everything. It's just this is now the
That's
town of
interesting.
Hershey.
That's interesting to me.
It'd be like calling Orlando Disney. You know what I mean? But they didn't do that
Right.
because it's so expansive. It's so big that that's now the town.
Yeah. Wouldn't be crazy if they did that.
Yeah, but I feel like that's not that crazy.
We're in Disney, Florida.
No, it's not that crazy because that's I think what
But that's
Hershey
what it's. Isn't Disney? Isn't that an actual town too, or no?
No, it's called like
There's just an
isn't it
area?
called like Lake Grove. No, not Lake Grove.
Can you just, how difficult of a process is it, do you think, to
Point
change
of,
a township?
Point of something, Point of
Okay.
Vista, where Disney is. Whatever.
It's an
Where
interesting
was
question.
I? We went to go to this
We
fucking
were there.
panel.
We were in Hershey.
We were in Hershey, Pennsylvania, an amazing place.
Origin unknown, really.
Yeah, there's this like marketing summit, and one of our sales guys was like, "Could you guys come to this?" And I agreed to it when I thought it was just in New York City, or it was on Zoom or something.
Yeah.
He goes, "By the way, it's in Hershey, Pennsylvania." I said, "Okay, yep, I'll be there for sure." We went there.
I'll be there for sure.
And you know, I was just like driving all the way there. It took like 4.5 hours. It was fine though. When we got there, really cool spot. Like
Yeah.
Hershey written on the front of the building. Beautiful
I
building.
saw that picture.
An
post. The building
amazing,
looked
amazing facility.
Nice. They want to take a
This
bite
is their
out.
headquarters. So I mean, every single room that we walked by had a ton of candy and
Hammering
chocolate.
candy.
Just like it was so
I'll
stereotypically
say a
Hershey.
Hershey bar, the OG,
Yeah.
is one of my favorite. Whenever I have to take a flight, snacks to get, because the way they do with the little rectangles, you can time it perfectly.
Yeah.
You can
nice.
just take out like the first 3
Mhm.
at the pre-flight,
I
and
love
then
it.
a couple ways through the flight, take out a couple more.
I
and
love
then
the
towards end
almonds
of
in
the
'em.
flight.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's the best.
Delicious.
Best.
Delicious.
Almonds the best.
Yeah, so we went for this marketing summit. Had no idea what it was going to be. Apparently, it was going to be us on a stage. We didn't know really what to expect going in. We get there, and there's a ton of people in the marketing world. I guess it's really for the people that work at Hershey to get to know what they're going into for the next year, get to know kind of where they're spending money or trying to expand their branding or whatever it is. Really get a feel for the landscape of sports and media. Where are movies going, TV? So they had a bunch of people. They had Amazon talking about Amazon Prime and Prime Video and all of that stuff. They had CBS Sports.
Yep.
They had all these different brands, and then Barstool Sports went up there and spoke. Our guy Sage, who has had a long,
Sausage.
yep, Davis called him Sausage.
Anybody knows some Barstool
long,
history?
long history at Barstool Sports. He's great for our brand. The guy works his ass off for
Mhm.
us. An amazing, amazing asset that we have. Went up there, played a couple videos. So there was a lot of like bare bones, like this is where sport is, and
a lot of
this-
PowerPoints.
a lot of PowerPoints.
Gotcha.
They
That's our
did great.
forte, really.
A lot of the people did great before us.
you guys ever make a PowerPoint?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
When I was
make a lot
kid,
of
Yeah, it's amazing how like I went straight from school to Nassau Community College, didn't even finish, and then I went from pizza to here. I can't believe how many people still use the stuff that like you learn in high school. Like they're legit doing just like PowerPoints.
They're making decks.
They're
Well-
making decks, like which is what I had to do for like a social studies project. And I'm like, why the fuck do I have to do this?
I leaned over to Frankie while the Amazon guy was going. I said, "We don't have a deck. We don't have a
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Oh, you guys didn't bring shit.
We got nothing."
So
Sausage
Sage
had
had,
one, or were you
so
guys
they
just
did all this stuff. They're talking about like
dancing around
where's
up
like
there?
women's sports going, Caitlin Clark, and numbers
Yeah.
about the Super Bowl and all this stuff. And then Sage got up there and played a video about Barstool. It's like one of like the year-end videos, like this is who we are, and it crushed. Like it was
Sizzle.
funny.
Sizzle
Frank
reel.
the Tank, Sizzle
that's
Reel,
right,
like Frank
Sizzle
the
Reel.
Tank being like, like follow your dreams. Like I followed my dreams. It's
a good
like
video.
echoing. It was awesome. Then they played a highlight reel of
Super
the
Bowl.
Arizona when we were in Arizona for the Super Bowl. How we kind of take over a land like Hershey. You know what I mean? Like we kind of dominate the area. We had the mini golf
Name
event.
that town Foreplay.
Right.
They're gonna love it.
We had the mini golf event. We had Jeff D'Lo did the dozen in a huge arena.
Live show at Barstool
We
Scottsdale.
yeah, so it's just showing like because I think whatever there might be a partnership for the I think there's gonna be a partnership for the Super Bowl coming up with Hershey. So it's like we got all these things going on, and then it was like, and now I want to do a sizzle for the guys that are standing in the back. You guys are about to see them soon. It's Frankie and Trent from Foreplay. This is how they've incorporated the one bar. We've had a really great relationship with you guys. So they played a highlight reel of us. And we got a bunch of laughs in the
Tons.
room. Like there's
Come
a bunch of
on.
people in there, like important people from Hershey. Like it's really funny. Like we really fucking love those bars. We eat the shit out of those things.
Eat them all the time, dude.
We eat them. We talk about them a lot.
Yeah, so we're eating them, and then there's
Damn
the
right
part
we
where
do.
like Jersey Jerry's kind of like fussling around with his, and I have to step off the tee box, and everyone's kind of joking around. So that happens. It was a huge hit. We go up on the panel, and one of the VP of Hershey, like media and marketing, is basically interviewing us. One of the women from CBS Sports, and I'm not sure what the brand was from the guy to the right of us,
I'm not sure either.
but they yeah, it's like I don't know, it's like a streaming service, I
Yeah.
think. And
Netflix
yeah,
or something like
no, it was like this, like it's this like other thing. Like they basically run like tournaments, like I don't know, like
some new streaming.
We're just never gonna think of the name of it.
Okay.
dude, I don't even know if they had a name. Like I don't even know.
No clue.
They have a lot
What's
of good
the-
stuff going on, but
Yeah, what's the one Erica used to do? Cheddar or something like that.
it was something like that.
Yeah, that's
it
what I
was,
was
but it wasn't it.
Okay. American.
So yeah, we
cheese.
got asked a bunch of questions. We made the room kind of like laugh, I think, which was really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, because we're like we took the fish out of water angle, where you
Yeah.
go up there. First thing I said was like, "This is our first panel."
Dude,
so
they used so behind
I
us.
bet they
is, like,
love that.
behind us is a picture of like who we are, like in front of each seat, and they used our like blogger pictures from the website. I'm 18 years old in it, and Trent, it looks like a vampire.
looks like
He's
they
the
pulled me out of a
whitest-
river.
So I was like, he asked me a question. I'm like, I
Just
can't.
white as a ghost or something.
So like he's
Dude.
asking all these questions, right, to all these like impressive people, and he goes to me and I was like, I can't even hear a word you're saying. Look at these photos of us, and the whole place just kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
We're actually good as
We're
a duo
idiots.
in that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're the idiots. But we made good points. Essentially what it was like it's three different types of content now. So there's the streaming, there's CBS, which is traditional, and then we were the non-traditional category.
Mm-hmm.
So basically asking questions, and each of our answers are different because we're different lenses and different.
CBS has a lot of licensing, and they're going to get the Super Bowl, and they got to do things specifically for that. And like he's asking us, like, how are you guys different from that with your content? Where if you're going to be marketing with a brand, how might that be different? We're like, and Trent answered it great, saying like we kind of make our own content. There is no agenda for what we have to do. We don't have
No
a specific
licensee.
date or license
Well-
where we have to make something happen. We get to make it whatever we want.
Yeah.
Right, like CBS has whatever license
Thinking that off
they
the top of
have.
your feet, or
Yeah, I
you
mean,
just-
I was,
Yeah.
they have rights with whatever the NFL. I don't even know
Yeah.
what it is. So they have to put their stuff during an NFL broadcast. Where we, with the guys behind the camera right now, Brendan and Alex and Kyle and Jared, we make whatever we want, and that's the content.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's easier for us, and then the ads for us are we eat one bars on a cart cam as
Totally.
opposed to running an ad or putting a billboard up around town.
We
The
have a
best
lot
part
of
is I was just thinking about like that, and I was like, yeah, like CBS, like we're gonna have Super Bowl, put this up there, and I was like, Brennan literally in the middle of like a hater match throws me a bar. It's like, why don't you talk about this
Yeah.
asshole for 5
Well,
talk
the
minutes?
thing
about
about the one bar is like
Just
we have a
like,
lot of
that's it.
partners. We genuinely love that brand and that snack. Like I said, we
It works.
have a
nicely.
million different partners. We don't go to a lot of marketing summits. Like this one, we felt like
First panel.
there's something about us. There's something about that. Like when we're partnering with brands that like it actually like flows into what we're doing. That stuff like really gets me going.
Mm.
Right, like you get like the Shipsticks of the world, or like the One Bars, where you're actually like utilizing Fireball. Like, we
Fireball's
love
a good
drinking
one.
Fireball on
Truly's
a
a
golf
good
course.
one.
Truly, like these things, like what we're getting away from the brands that don't make any sense. Our like core right now is like the stuff that we actually use. And it's
That's-
becoming really easy,
That's what advertising should
So
be.
true.
what it
Peter
should
Millar,
be.
tailor made. It's like the guys that
bro.
like
It took a while to get here,
But we
It
are
really
in a
did.
place now where we advertise things that we genuinely love, and it comes across in the videos and in the podcast. So like that was a
Yeah.
big part of what we were talking about.
It is funny. I remember pre Barstool, I remember having a great like dinner conversation, around the bar conversation with some buddies, being like, if you were a individual sport athlete, let's say you're a NASCAR driver, a golfer, a tennis player, whatever, and you could pick your 3 sponsors.
Yeah.
Who would they be?
Oh,
And it's like
TaylorMade.
we've we've like pretty much got.
We kind of did it.
We've done it.
Yeah.
Like we've fucking done it, and that is, don't get me wrong. Like we are a for profit entity, so it's like if people come to us with X amount of money, we're gonna do it. It'd be crazy not to. I think our fans and all of our partners know that, but we're definitely involved in the decision process with our sales team of like, yeah, this big partner is going to make sense. We can integrate that versus we have said no to shit that doesn't make sense. We've absolutely been in a position to do that. But to that like top 3 thing, again, it is funny to look around being like, yeah, no, we've basically been able to do that.
And I want to say, I said that we this is our first panel and we only did it. I am now opening it up. I want to do more panels. I enjoyed it.
It was
So
fun.
like to our other partners, if you want us to go panel, we'll panel our
we can
asses
go
off.
panel.
It's a
I'll
verb.
say
It's
it.
a verb.
Yeah, we
go
can
panel.
go
It is
panel.
now.
Bro, we'll panel our fucking asses off. I was like, at one point we
Paneling for money, for
we were-
pay.
he asked us like
We'll
about
panel
like
for
how
pay.
how do
Panel
we
handling.
something about just like how do we make it organic or whatever, and I basically talked about us just being ourselves. Luckily, we get to go
Good.
just be ourselves, and then people just somehow it just keeps going. People are watching. I don't know. We have no idea as to why it's happening. We are just genuinely being ourselves. And I said, like, I bring people into my world, and so do you guys. Where it's like everyone knows my dad. I told a story about how my dad had heart surgery, and 350 people sent cards to wish him well. I mean, even John Feidelberg was handwriting things.
My
People were
parents sent him a
sending-
card.
Your parents sent him a card. We're sending him cards. He's sitting there, and the whole place just kind of like they were like you could
awesome.
see their faces, and I'm like, you're not gonna make me cry at a
I thought
marketing
we were gonna get
summit.
Frankie to cry. in
I
Hershey,
said that out loud. I
Pennsylvania.
said, you're
Yeah,
not
it would've
gonna
been
make
great.
me. I said,
How
you're
do we
not
get
gonna
you to cry
make
the
me
next time?
cry at a Hershey's marketing summit. That's not happening. And they all fucking laughed. That's what I mean. Like, I just think it was different when us being up there. It's like, who let these 2 fucking normal guys up there? So that was cool to be a part of.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
up there with, like,
picturing I'm
flashcards.
picturing you and Trent as like the Step Brothers. We're here to fuck shit up.
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna interview as
But
a team today.
We are idiots, but the fact of the matter is they're asking us questions about something that I've been doing for 11 years,
Yeah.
9 years. Not like you ask us questions about this shit, we have an answer.
How about it has been about 9 years for us?
Right.
You're at 11.
Yeah, I'm coming up on 11.
We're at 30 years combined, pretty much.
But it's crazy. And then my favorite part of something like that is when you explain how the mistakes of Barstool are a part of it, because that's something the other guys don't have.
No.
Where like the CBS Sports
It's a
when
secret
when they
sauce.
fuck up, or like last night during the Showdown, not to keep shitting on that, but when they like would throw to something that wasn't actually happening, it was chaos, and they're just like, and they never address it. They try to put a Band-Aid on it, and it's over. Where with
Dude, when they went
Barstool,
to Scotty at the beginning and
Yes.
his headset, he just couldn't hear. And that was a nightmare for them.
Yeah.
They just panicked.
and for in our business, it's like that becomes a part of it, and like that I think is so powerful for Barstool and has been for so long, where you embrace your mistakes, and you can kind of feel the room. When we said it during the panel, they were like, that's a really interesting way to approach content.
Dude, like you would have stepped in there and been like, "Hello, I'm Scotty Scheffler. I win all the time."
Yeah,
What
you
do
just
wanna-"
yeah,
whatever,
yeah, you just or you get like
power
Dave
through
yelling
it.
at all business Pete, like that becomes a part. Like, so it was fun. I think we did a good job. I think we represented well. We were idiots, but I think we made some good points too.
I grinded to get there. I had my fucking wisdom teeth taken out on Friday, and this was on Monday.
How you doing?
I'm still battling. It's fucking brutal. It's barbaric.
Because you didn't go all the way under.
No, I stayed awake for it. I got the most needles put in my gums of all time of that
Novocaine.
Novocaine. Shout out to my guy. I think his name is. He's a doctor. He's a surgeon. Is
Doctor.
it doctor?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're all doctors.
Damn right.
Doctor.
This was right up his
Dr.
dad.
Neller.
Dr. Steve.
Dr.
I did.
Neller. Kneller.
Full
Great
throttle
guy.
remodel.
I had to pay quite a bit of money for this. So this, if you want to get on the healthcare conversation.
So my dad would always
no.
say. My dad would always be like, "I'm trying to give people if they've got an extra like $500 or $1,000 lying around, I'm trying to get them to pay for dentistry instead of a new big screen TV."
Bro, they are
It's, like, not easy.
selling you like they're selling you a car when you're sitting in there. Literally giving you the price. Hey, this is going to be this. And they're showing it and you're just signing. And you're like, I have no other option, right?
True.
Like, I mean, I signed away for I think it was $2,800 worth of dental work on top of all my insurance that I paid.
Worth it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the real issue. I got 2 taken out on the left side. And I didn't get swollen somehow. I mean, my face is already swollen. So I made that joke a couple times. I'm like, well, my face is already round. It's not going
Just
to get much
blends
bigger.
in, right?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, it's not much swelling." I was like, "Well, it was swollen before I got in here."
I bet they love
I
that.
got
Get a
two-
laugh too, or they all
I got to
just-
laugh.
there
Yeah,
you go.
he was a young guy, so he was laughing. I think he was a fan. He like knew what was going on. He was just in my mouth for a long time, real long time, 2 hours. It was in my
Cut
mouth.
it.
Hey, how sore was your jaw?
Clip
too?
it.
Opening that thing.
So here's what I was gonna get to. I think a hack is staying awake. You got to deal with the barbaric noises and feelings, but you get to take breaks with your jaw. Like he's like, "Do you need a break?" I'd be like, "Yeah," and we would kind of just sit there for 10 minutes and talk about whatever. I think when you're just like knocked out, your mouth is open for like 2 hours.
Yep.
They don't give a fuck what's actually going on because you're not in pain. And then you wake up and you're like, what's
sore
been
as
happening to me
fuck,
over the last
dude.
2 hours? So you know what I mean? Over the 2 hours, maybe my mouth was only open for an hour. So it was like, I think I beat the system in that
Noises are
aspect.
tough though, huh?
Oh, there's a lot of orthodontic
Okay.
surgeons. What's the word I'm looking for? Orthodontic surgeons.
It's closer than
Orthodontic?
orthodontic.
Orthodontic.
Mr. Crentist.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in that world listening to this, and they have to deal with this on a daily basis. It is a barbaric scene. It's the year 2024, and we're still using pliers, hammers, and fucking screwdrivers to get the shit out. So I got 2 taken out on the left side. The right side came in nice, so it was fine. And I'd been dealing with a little bit of issue, like just like at night, I would feel a little like a heartbeat back there in the back left, and I'm like, something's going on.
My old man. This reminds me of this last weekend because we had the father-son at the golf club. My old man was there. He's telling stories. And one point he's telling stories like, yeah, this one guy laid down and looked up and he's all terrified, scared. And he's like, "Doc, what do you think about that tooth? Think you'd be able to get that out?" My dad's like, I grabbed his head a little bit. I said, "You see all these fucking tools I got over here?" He goes, "I'm going to get this out. It's just a matter
Doesn't matter how tough. Yeah.
That's right.
So I got those 2 out, and then I had a baby tooth right here. You can see I got no tooth there now. You see?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got a little gap.
I had a baby tooth there for 31 years. It
Jesus.
made it all its way to 31 years.
Ride
It-
or die.
It cracked a little bit. A part
Oh,
of
it
it like
died.
turned like a different color. I was like, "That's fucking. I gotta get this thing out." So while we were there, I'm like, "Can you just knock this thing out?" And that's the thing that cost me a lot of money.
Mm.
Taking the tooth out, putting a screw in there.
Mm.
Now I got to get an implant in there. So that was like the $3,000 fuck up. I think if I just did the molars or whatever, the wisdom teeth, that would have been okay.
Yeah.
Our dental covered some of that, right? Barstool Sports.
Yeah, it
dental
would have been
covered-
really expensive
Yeah,
without
it's nice.
that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
really bad. Because dude, they really go. Half the time, I'm like, "You're really going at me in there." He's really going at me in there. He was in my mouth like hard, dude. No, hard.
Hard.
Like this back
No, I
left.
get it.
This back left one was so sideways that he was like in there and like pulling out. And have you ever watched a
bet he
video on
was.
how they take out fucking
I've watched
wisdom
videos.
teeth?
No.
They crack them into fourths. They actually saw them into fourths so that they can pull them out. It's just so barbaric.
Mhm.
You're literally getting like destroyed. Like if you think about it,
Think about this.
No, I'm
200
thinking
years
about
ago,
it. For sure.
how bad it is.
they didn't take that shit out. But it's the same.
Well, think about the first wave of
Oh.
modern dentistry.
We
that they
haven't
were
really
taking it
improved
out.
Yeah,
that
how old is
far.
dentistry?
That's
Right.
A good,
I see
I
what
think
you're
like,
saying.
what's that?
We haven't really improved. Like, bro,
Novocaine's
heart-
a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah, but I think back in the day they just got you real liquored up.
no, but Novocaine's
get you-
big,
they just
man.
get you
They're
blackouts
really,
out.
they're
No.
really getting
Because you
in
didn't
there.
you didn't feel anything,
Just
but you
pressure.
heard pressure and you heard a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Stuff's
they
brutal.
gotta change this industry. The noises suck.
I don't know what
It's
you
so
can do,
scary.
man.
So anyway, right now I'm like trying to deal with this. I don't want dry socket. That's something that everyone talks about. Basically, you develop a little blood clot on where the tooth came out, and you want that to stay. So they say to not suck out of a straw or eat any strong food, because if you eat something and it takes that blood clot and you swallow it or you spit it out or whatever, and it dislodges, you know, if it dislodges,
Yeah, no.
you
I
now
get
have an exposed socket.
it. I've seen
where-
videos like you said.
where your nerve and all your vessels and everything are exposed. So you can't swallow, you can't spit.
What's the other option?
As we were
Just gotta let it simmer.
as we
Yeah.
were walking on stage
Soak it in.
for the panel,
Soak
Frankie goes, "I can taste blood in my mouth." And I was like, "All right, let's get up there and talk about
Oh, God.
where sports
I-
content is going in
my
2025."
Orthodontist said to not go. He's like, "Bro, you're gonna be talking. What?" He goes, "You're gonna be fucked up."
I couldn't
I mean,
believe
I'm
you were
on
there.
heavy medication for this shit. It hurts.
I believe you.
I'm here today. But, I'm a fucking battler.
You're a
you know?
warrior, man. As far as our trips go for our job, this is kind of the last one. TGL.
For a little
Dude, I got
while.
elbow surgery and I played a rock show 2 weeks after in Denver, Colorado. I was icing, and there's a picture of me with Dave Portnoy. I have my elbow in a fucking bucket of ice water, and there's blood all over my hand.
I've never seen it.
It's a hard photo.
Nice. Like, yeah, you look tough.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
You're a quick
Dave's just
recoverer.
sitting there like,
You're a warrior, dude.
yeah, I don't want to talk too
You're a
much
warrior.
about myself.
Mhm.
You know,
Um,
it is what it is.
so yeah,
But
that was our panel experience. It was great.
shout out to everyone that's had dental issues.
We'll,
We've all survived
We'll
it.
panel it up if people want to.
You should panel about the future of dentistry.
We got to move that whole
Orthodentistry.
industry a little bit more forward, just a little bit.
You guys want to talk about Joel Dahmen coming out
Not a lot, baby girls.
Joel Dahmen.
When's
we
that
gotta-
coming out?
Thursday? So today?
Oh, today. Tomorrow. But Thursday. So today.
Joel Damen's coming out today.
That's right.
How?
The rematch. Mesa Country Club in Scottsdale, in Mesa, Arizona.
Mesa, Arizona.
Wow.
Just south of Scottsdale, Arizona.
Joel Dahmen has had one hell of a couple of months, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
where he was fighting for his life. We just watched Alistair, which I know that you guys did the show and
Yeah.
I missed it. Shout out to Alistair. Really devastating stuff. But a great season. I know that we want to move
Great
forward.
season. It's not a
Move
funeral.
forward. Not a
This is
funeral.
it's a birth.
Yep. It's a birth. This is all stuff talking like a guy off a ledge right now, right? I mean, it was devastating.
Oh, totally devastating.
Yeah. It felt
Totally
like a funeral. But
Totally
He's-
back-to-back devastating.
he's so good that he's going to end up being fine. It's just really hard to see the light right now.
I got a little dinner last night with Alistair for
Okay.
a couple hours, and he's doing fine.
Okay,
he was, I was telling jokes. I was showing him some screenshots that I was laughing about
Alright.
from the coverage. He was enjoying all that, and then, I could tell he couldn't wait to kind of talk about it, and we went shot by shot through basically the whole thing. And
He couldn't
said-
hit a green if his life depended on it.
He just was like, yeah. He said on the back, he's like, I was driving it like you wouldn't believe, and I just couldn't get the ball close enough. He was hitting all the little fringes and stuff.
Was he nervous?
He said he was telling me that he was, and we'll get Alistair on in the next couple weeks and like really go through all this. I think it's pretty raw right now still. He's kind of like decompressing, but he was saying he's like, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous, but the only time I really got like in your throat a little bit nervous is he was walking me through the first hole where he made the double, and he said I absolutely roasted a tee shot up the left side, and I was like, here we go. And he's like, and then I had this kind of squirrely lie and a squirrely yardage. So I was just kind of trying to get it up in and probably in this bunker that I ended up getting it in. He's like, when I got in there, it was in one of those lies where the way the guy raked it, it was almost like kind of buried without like fried eggy. And he's like, so I honestly was trying to just get it out. I thought it was going to tumble, probably go just over the green, and I could maybe chip in or it'd be an easy up and down. And I'm still tied for first. Everything's fine. He's like, I hit it. And it came out completely dead, hit like the lip, came back in the bunker.
Oh.
And he's like, at that moment was the first time, and really the only time throughout the day, where he's like, I truly got like very uncomfortably nervous. Like, oh shit. Like, what is this really like happening? Everything's kind of spinning, whatever. And he's like, but I still felt pretty damn good. He's like, I tried to get a little too cute with the next shot because it was a really hard shot. And he's like, and it stayed in the rough. And he's like, and then I hit a pretty good chip there, but it rolled 5 or 6 feet by. I had a great putt, but like it went the other way. And next thing you know, you're in for a double.
Oh.
And he's like, honestly, the rest of the day, he's like, you're nervous. You know what you're playing for. But he's like, I was nervous in a very manageable, like comfortable way. And he just, and he knows his own game. Like the biggest thing he's worked on over the last couple of years, is his wedge control. And for as hard as, and it's similar to like Rory. If you look at Rory, guys with a ton of swing speed really struggle to control their yardages with wedges because they have too much spin. So like a back pin's a great example of, there were a couple back pins coming down the stretch where you saw Alistair just not be able to get it close to the pin. And that's the shot that he's been working on for a really long time, because he has so much spin that if he lands that ball near the hole, it rips down from the back. Usually greens are sloped back to front, and it rips 40 feet away.
Right.
So it's a shot that he's worked really, really, really hard at. And he had a bunch of those yardages coming down the stretch, basically. And watching with his swing coach and whatnot, he kind of knew that. He's like, he's struggling to get these close. He wasn't putting them in spots in the back nine at all. The last 10 holes, he never was really in danger at all of making a bogey. But he wasn't getting them close enough to have really good birdie looks.
Right.
Yeah.
And the one chance he had was on 17. And then on 18, he said he had 178, a little bit out of the rough, downwind.
Did the guys he was playing with fuck him over by both going short right? 'Cause
No.
I texted these guys. I'm like, he's going long. 100%.
No, the only thing that he really said was like he was like he wasn't really in those guys' world at all. Like he knew where they were at. And
But
stuff.
you know what I mean? Like you watch two guys you're playing with that are striping the ball. They're both like, one of the guys literally like was about to make it. Like he was playing great.
Yeah.
Were they both? Yeah, I guess so, right?
Yeah, they both ended up making it.
So it's like you got these two guys that are playing fantastic golf, hitting every single green, making birdies, the whole entire deal. They both show up super short and right. And now you have to hit your shot. It's like something's going on. The wind, because they were looking at the wind. They had a club change.
Yeah. He said on 18 what he told me because he's in the fairway. And he's like, he's got a good lie. He said he had, I think it was like 178 pin. And it was downwind, a little bit like out of like jumpy type, like fairway fringy grass. And he said he had, it was like 182 or 3 to the back edge. And he hit 9-iron and airmailed the green. So he's like, he's like, I'm not hitting pitching wedge. He's like, I just couldn't convince myself to hit wedge. He's like, dude, I hit it 4 feet left of the flag stick.
Adrenaline.
Right at the flag.
It's part of it.
And he's like, yeah, that was absolutely devastating. He's like, my heart, when that thing dropped, he's like, I literally looked at Brando, his caddy, who's a beauty, by the way, and was like, did that go long? And he's like, Brando looked through his book and was like, dude, it's like 183 to go long or something. And he's like, we hit 9-iron. And they like looked down, made sure they checked the club, got over there, and he's way over. So again, you got to figure all that stuff out. It's not like excuses. It's like that's what happened. The ball, like an alien didn't come grab it and fly it. Like that's what happened. You hit it over the green.
Yeah.
But his point was basically just like he never felt like he was too nervous to like handle it. He's like, dude, when all these guys were hitting irons and stuff off the tees trying to limp home, he's like, I was ripping my driver and mini driver down 300 something yards. So he felt
was great
good.
up the tee.
But yeah, it's just he wasn't getting them close enough. And he made those mistakes early, which, you know.
The par
Imagine
5
he
was
looks
a
at that-
16. Oh,
He looks
That
at
was
that club.
devastating.
He looks at that club and it's a 7-iron and 7-9.
Yeah, right.
That's like the worst mistake of all time.
Dude, he said on 16, he kind of knew the miss. His miss, if anything, was because, again, he had a little bit of a hook lie, and he was kind of like unsure. But he had a pretty good number, and he was like, if anything, the miss is you just hit in that bunker, and it's the easiest up and down of all time. And his ball stopped like 2 feet short of that bunker. And that rough is that dormant Bermuda rough. So he's like, it was just he's like, I'm short of the bunker, and it's a little bit downhill lie to a green that runs away from you, downwind, down grain, downhill. And he's like, I took a super flop shot, and I basically was like, if this doesn't land within a 5 feet spot, it's in the water, and I'm out of here. But I know I got to pretty much make birdie. He's like, the fact that it didn't go in the water was unbelievable. I hit it incredible. You can't get any closer. So he ended up again there, like that was a bad second, relatively speaking. But if that just kicks down into that bunker, he can spin it. And it's not that hard of an up and down. So again, he put himself in that spot. He knows it, but he's got a pretty damn good attitude right now. Being like, I'm going to fucking dominate the Korn Ferry Tour. Here we go. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you come up that short twice. That's the dream. It's hard to explain to people, like the difference between playing in Panama and the Bahamas events on the Korn Ferry Tour for the next 20, 25 events, and playing in the Phoenix Open,
Farmers,
and the Farmers, and maybe the Memorial, and the fucking Arnold Palmer Invitational, and the Zurich Classic, and all this shit is night and day. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, and the grind doesn't stop, which brings us to Joel Dahmen. I mean, even when you make it, then you have this new lifestyle. You're on the PGA Tour. You have all these coaches. You're making all this money. You get a new house, a whole entire deal. We saw Joel. We talked about him a couple of shows ago. We saw him have to grind to keep his PGA Tour card. You got to get within the top 125. It's the same story as Alistair, just in a different version of life, a different step up. Really battling for everything that he could get. And yeah, it was a tough couple like weeks or a month, whatever you might want to call it for Joel, maybe even a year of like just kind of grinding that line of like, am I going to be able to keep providing for my family in the way that I am right now? Am I going to still do this? Can I still do this? And he fucking did it. We watched it. We all, live tweeted it and talked about it in the podcast after. He's the man. He's incredible. We're the biggest fans of Joel Dahmen. And then right off that, he's celebrating this achievement. He probably wants to, it's probably a weird celebration where it's like, I did the bare minimum of my goal, where it's like to just keep my card, but it's an achievement nonetheless. It's a huge deal. Right after that, we get him on the golf course. I don't think he's ever been this confident in his game.
From the first fucking tee box at Mesa, the way he spoke to us was a different human being. Something about this like chase to keep his PGA Tour card has like reignited some fire in him. Not to say that he lost it, but I think he'd be the first person to say that his flame dims from time to time. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not the fire or the love for the game, but like his own self-confidence.
Yeah.
that flame sort of kind of wavers.
I agree with that.
And I think it's like a roaring fire right now.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I'm really excited
100%.
for people to watch this video, not to give anything away. It's an all-time match.
Mhm.
It is.
All time. From beginning to end, it's all time.
It was extremely competitive.
It's as good as it gets. It's
we
Joel
as a team
Dahmen.
hit some damn good shots. Like
Yeah.
the course is awesome. It's redone, and we kind of raved about it a handful of times on the show. Now they
Trent
had
just broke 80s. He just shot 87. No, he did not break. Yeah, people probably think that was a Freudian slip.
No,
We haven't even attempted the next.
no, we haven't done
No.
no one yet. No,
I
shot
they
87,
still
I'm
don't
87.
believe us, by the way.
I know, but we
With
haven't
all
filmed
this
one.
talk, no one's believing us. You don't got to cut it. You can keep it.
No, keep
now
it.
you saying cutting it, people are gonna think we did it. we have not filmed a breaking.
We have
yet.
not. I promise.
hand to heart have not filmed a breaking
Hand to
85
heart.
since you shot 87 at Mason.
That's true. Hand on my heart.
Hannah Hart.
And it's great that Joel Dahmen, since the last time he did this, whatever, 4 years ago, he is maybe 5 times as famous as he was.
Yeah,
The full
Netflix.
swing, like he's the same guy, but like
He's had a kid.
he's had a kid. It's he's had an interesting life. these
Kid's
last
got a
couple
great
years.
name.
Riggs.
Riggs.
Mm-hmm.
That made me
Um,
laugh on the first
A
take.
well-named kid.
No, this is just like it's a great 4-man scramble video, and with Joel Dahmen. Like, what else do you
He's
want?
the man. He's
He's
so
so great.
good. Just having him with the cart cam and the microphone for the whole time. Like, that's the stuff that you want to sit down, and that's where you're getting entertained. We're not playing for $10 million
He
in
was so
cryptocurrency.
good, dude. I rode with him for most of the day. We had each guy kind of jumped in from time to time.
So good.
Afterwards, too, like off camera, he was like begging everybody to stay and have drinks. I went and had a beer with him and a bunch of the guys in the grill room there, and he really is just the fucking man.
He's the best. There's really no one better.
He's so nice.
He really is. So yeah, that video's out. I'm sure it came out this morning, 10 a.m.
Yeah, go watch it. It's a good one.
Check that one out on the internet. All right, I think
We got
done.
Rickie Fowler.
We got Rickie Fowler coming on the show. We haven't done it yet,
Yep.
so that's coming. We got 15 or 20.
We don't really
minutes with
know
Rickie.
where we lie with Rickie Fowler. It's been years of never getting him. And we go to all these events,
Yeah.
tailor made everything. Never gotten him once, except for Dan Rapport got him in like a speed golf thing.
That's
And
right.
now Dan's talking about golf in a way that he was never allowed to talk about golf.
Yeah, he's totally prohibited. We kept him in a cage.
He put one out the other day. He's like, I can't believe I'm able to do these with highlights. It's like, it's the same video, dude. It is what it is. It's the same thing. As if we were like some conglomerate that didn't let him.
We don't have highlights.
We don't have highlights.
I know. It's like,
No, but that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
We're not allowed.
No, he is allowed now.
Next
whole
council meeting, we'll bring it up. Though.
Whole new way of talking about golf. Never been able to do it.
Next council meeting, give us highlights.
The councilman will be voicing that opinion. For sure.
Definitely.
Have to.
What's a whole new way to talk
I got
about
a tweet
golf?
once from a guy who sent me his tweet, Dan's, and he goes, "How could you have caged this guy like this?" Because
Guy actually said that?
yeah,
I don't think we ever told Dan
to not do anything.
he could do literally whatever he wanted.
Yeah,
We're big on
whatever it is.
micromanaging. That's us.
Yeah.
Hands on everywhere.
Hey, we're gonna go to these panels. You just don't tweet anything.
We're gonna keep doing panels. I want to do another one.
Panels are nice. I've usually been on the other side of the panel. I think when we did the Corn Ferry Tour event, I interviewed those guys up on a panel.
You're a host.
I've been on the hosting side of the panel.
Hosting
a few
can't
times.
be easy. Like I think our host did a great
Well,
job.
we were in a good spot because the guy who was our panel host was a stoolie.
Massive.
He loves us.
He's the
loves
man.
Barstool. Great guy, Vinny. Shout out to Vinny.
Shout
Good
out
name.
Vinny.
Good name, Vinny.
All right, let's
I think
throw it
it's
to
a-
Rickie Fowler.
Yeah, Vinny Rinaldi.
Shout out to him.
What a name. All
Great
right.
guy.
Next up on the show.
Also, they have a great country club there. We're gonna go film Hershey Country Club.
36 holes.
36 holes right up against the
Factory.
factory, and I guess Milton, the guy who created Hershey, he built his mansion like right behind one of the greens so that he could overlook the whole golf course and all of his factories.
Smart.
Really, really cool
We're definitely
spot.
going back.
Yeah,
They got like chocolate on like,
I hope so.
you know.
I wish
Like
the
A
ponds were
chocolate pond.
Oh.
Chocolate pond. Okay.
Right.
Not an easy place to go 3 days after getting 3 teeth pulled. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
all that candy and chocolate
Poor guy.
is what it is. Rickie Fowler.
Rickie Fowler. It can be exhausting following the countless rules and regulations of golf. We've been talking about it for years, a combined decades. We've been talking about it here, from walking on eggshells, old things that people, try to play off as tradition, but are really just annoying regulations that they hold.
Yeah.
Cultural, right? Golf cultural regulations. That's why when it comes time for a drink, we reach for one that breaks all the rules, the Truly Unruly. It is 8% ABV. However, still light and refreshing. High ABV drink doesn't follow any hard seltzer's usual rules. Comes in 4 bold, party-ready flavors that still pair perfectly with a day on the course. Most importantly, just as good pre-tee off as it is at the 19th hole. We've got Tropical Twist, Berry Blast, Citrus Crush, and Strawberry Smash.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Yep.
We talk a lot about how we're doing all these so often that it becomes Pavlonian, but I don't know that I would be able to golf at this point without
Did you
Truly's.
read a book or something lately?
What was the word?
Pavlonian?
Pavlonian.
That's what I said.
I thought you said Pablonian.
Pavlonian.
Like Pablo
Said
came
it
up
with a
with it?
V.
I was just checking.
Some man named
You
Pablo.
really made me second guess myself.
Because I thought it sounded
long.
I got this fucking tooth issue back here. I really do. I'm barely speaking.
God.
I'm sorry.
Find it near you. The Truly Unruly.
Truly's for me. I gotta have them on the golf course.
Have
They're
to.
great. TrulyHardSeltzer.com/locations. You can find Truly Unruly near you at, again, 8% ABV. TrulyHardSeltzer.com/locations. Truly Hard Seltzer Beverage Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Please drink responsibly. All right, folks, we're joined for the very first time on the show. We've got Rickie Fowler. We've never had you on the show. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
You know, we've been kind of in your orbit a little bit. We've been big fans for a long time. What's it like? What's life like with Rickie Fowler right now? Where are you at with everything?
Well, I've got a crazy 3-year-old, a pretty well-behaved 4-month-old.
Wow.
And, yeah, that's about life right now.
You have any advice for our own Frankie
Yeah,
Borelli?
I'm
and
expecting in April, so first time. And I've gotten quite the response from people. Obviously, a lot of congratulations, but people saying, say goodbye to your golf game and all this stuff. And my response to that's always, well, Scotty Scheffler became the best golfer in the world when he started having babies, so maybe I can take a little something from that. I mean, what has life really changed for you, specifically being on tour and having kids?
I mean, life definitely changes. Luckily, golf is my job.
Right.
So I think it's obviously you still have time to do what you need to do. It's more of like the hobbies or things you want to do for fun. Kind of, wouldn't say it gets pushed to the side, but priorities change a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's for the better. And one of the things I always told myself when you'd start to worry or have second thoughts or what's happening, be like, there's been a lot less competent people that have done this successfully before.
You said this like 2
we've been
nights
talking
ago
about
at
that
dinner.
a lot.
It's true.
Be all right.
We were sitting there and we're like, how the hell are we going to do this?
People have been doing it since
I was
the
like, I
beginning of
barely
time.
wake
Billions of people
myself.
have done that.
Like our alarms will go off. I'll be like, I can barely wake myself up to go to this like flight, and like that's over. Waking up is like you're up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. We're watching our sister-in-law do it. My sister doing it. It's nuts.
It's just part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I would say the other like with kids is I'm basically a pro now. I have 2. No, they're all different. People will give you advice or tell you this works or you have to do this. It's like, no, they're all different. Just because it works for one doesn't mean it'll work for another. It's trial and error. You're gonna it's like, we'll do this. This is our decision going forward with it. It didn't work. All right, tried the next thing.
Totally.
Just figure it out.
Yeah. So your 3-year-old daughter, I think she just recently turned 3. Does she have any concept of like what you do yet?
She knows I play golf, but that's the concept. It's no real understanding.
Yeah, no grass. Like she's going to events. There's like orange hats all over the place.
She's still, it's still like kind of like what's going on here? Like why are these people here?
It's gonna happen fast, especially I think with the YouTube. You know, the only reason I think is I got an 8-year-old nephew and a 5-year-old now niece, and they're like at that age where they kind of have a concept of YouTube and YouTube stars and stuff from watching things. So I just wasn't sure, but I think that's gonna happen fast for you.
Yeah, I mean, sometime between now and then.
Yeah,
next few years.
Right. How you feeling about like what this time of year for you? What's your relationship with golf like? Are you grinding a lot? Are you taking a lot of time off?
I mean, I had a decent amount of time off after the Open in July because obviously I played like shit last year, so I wasn't in the playoffs. So it worked out kind of conveniently because our second came on August 2nd. So I just home for 2 weeks after the British, worked out timing wise. Wife has the baby, got to be home and be a dad for, wasn't so much being there for, her and the little one, but being there for our oldest, Maya,
Yeah.
because mom was on duty with Nellie and I had to make sure Maya was taken care of. So I had my hands full, and that was, had a solid, after Nellie was born, probably a solid 3 weeks where I really didn't touch a club. So that was over a month from the British. And then I started kind of getting back into it because I was planning to play a little bit in the fall. But yeah, I played 3 events in the fall: Sanderson, Vegas, Japan. Played Grant Thornton last week, and that's been about my last 5 months.
Do you ever like when the playoffs are on, or if the President's Cup's on, you don't make the team? You ever watch any of that to like piss yourself off and motivate yourself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a bunch of the playoffs. Sometimes with those, it depends. If some of my buddies are in contention, what's going on. I'll keep up. Like I was out playing a little bit. Or actually not during the playoffs, but like President's Cup and stuff. Keep up with scores on the phone and then end up watching when I can. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's the first thing I turn on. I'd rather be, playing with the kids or out playing golf or whatever, but I do keep up with it.
What do you feel like game wise? What do we got to get back to, peak Rory, man, or peak Rickie? I know last year, obviously, you had a great run at the U.S. Open. You shot a 62. Where do we feel like we need to improve to get there?
Tighten a little bit of everything up. I think one of the big things, I started putt decent last year in this fall. I think the 2 bookends, driving and putting, I feel like both of those can make things a little easier. If you drive it well, you don't have to do anything too great from there, but if you're putting well, it kind of takes the stress off the rest. So when I've always, up until the last few years, kind of putting was something I could always rely on. Luckily that has kind of come back, but that was something that I struggled with when I was working on stuff kind of 2020, 21. I didn't have the putting to help me out, and so the other one being driving the ball well. I didn't think I did that good enough last year. So I feel good with where we're at and have a few more weeks to get ready before. My season starts with TGL, so that'll be the warm up before going out to the West Coast.
We talked about this a bunch. So you come onto the scene, you burst onto the scene. Rickie Fowler wearing all the orange, huge fan base, like took it by storm. Was that a lot for you to kind of like handle when you were first like on the scene? Like you're this guy, you have a brand. Like not that many people have the thing. Like when he wears that color, he's like locked in. Like was that like a conscious thing from you? Was it like a team around you that wanted to do that in terms of like you being associated with like a color or a brand like that?
No, it was just me. Obviously like Puma was a great fit and the timing and everything worked out. When I was turning pro and they had gotten into golf a few years prior. So that all kind of fell into place. And I liked their stuff. I liked that there wasn't a bunch of guys that wore it. And then the orange for me was just coming from Oklahoma State. So nothing was ever planned out. It was just like, I like them. I want to wear that. This is what we're going to do. And having the kids and the youth gravitate towards it, I think it was more just like the only way I've thought back or talked to other people, the only way to like describe it or explain it is that was just me being me. Maybe the kids just saw that I wasn't trying to be anyone else. That was me. Like, I'm not faking it. Here I am. Let's have some fun.
Now, fast forwarding now, 2 kids, you're an older Rickie Fowler compared to that. Has there been a conscious effort to leave that in the past and like now you're a different version of that golfer, right? You don't maybe we don't see the full orange on orange or whatever it might be, or that much as much.
Yeah, it's just not as much. The option's still there. I think it's more using, instead of it always being that, using it for some fun moments and to where it sticks out a little bit more. I've always been off course dressed fairly mellow, not too flashy or loud. The colors and the loud stuff were typically more on the golf course or on the bikes riding where there's dirt bikes, bicycles and stuff. So it was more when it was, I don't know, me and sport. That's where I had some fun with it. But yeah, off course I like to hide out.
Frankie had a theory going for a little bit that if you wore all black on Sundays instead of all orange, that Rickie might undergo just like a slight enough brand shift that you could start like.
We should start calling you Rick.
We'll call you Rick.
Go from Rickie to Rick, like
Yeah,
that.
but my legal name is Rick.
There you go.
That's it.
But it's just like the world would be like he's no longer Rickie, he's Rick, and like putts just start to drop just a little more. It's like fucking Rick's coming around.
Yeah, no, I mean, the orange has been good.
I said this on a podcast once, and that week you wore fucking black, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I was like, this guy fucking knows. And we started calling you Rick, and you went on like a run. Remember that?
Yeah, it was
I
Rick.
do,
I was
yeah.
like, this fucking guy somehow he heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't, obviously, but like,
There could be some black and there could be some accents of orange. There's
yeah,
done
you know what I
nice.
mean?
Right.
But like,
Yeah,
you're this.
subtle.
You got 2 kids now. Like, you're Rick now, man.
Dad.
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 You're Rick. Let's run with that.
Well, I've always been Rick.
I know.
Yeah.
To be clear, his birth certificate says Rick.
Yeah, well, I'm
He
Frankie,
knows.
bro. My name's
Yeah,
Frank.
absolutely.
Like, yeah.
He's very aware of that.
Are
Like,
you?
at some point, I'll be Frank instead of Frankie.
Yeah.
You know,
I see what you're
I will
saying.
transition into Frank.
Right. It's probably when, probably have a couple of kids.
Yeah, if I have the 4th. If I have a boy, I'm going to name him the 4th.
Because he's Frank Brelli the third.
Makes sense. Are you aware
Dynasty.
that people refer like a lot of on short putts and people jam them in? They're like, "Oh, you Rickied it." You aware of that? At all?
That's fine as long as it's when they make it.
It is.
Yeah,
it
it
is. But that's been like a real popular thing in like recreational golf for the last decade that I can recall. And I was always like, I wonder if Rickie has any idea.
No, but I mean, I don't mind that. I wouldn't say I don't always hit them hard. It's more when you're like, I'm making this one, or
Yeah.
unsure about maybe a little bit of movement. You're just like, it's straight, hit it.
I've always viewed it as a complimentary thing towards
Yeah,
you,
no,
for sure.
I'm good with that. But like I said, it's only if it goes in, that's when you can say.
If someone misses it like way too hard and low, you're like, no, I don't want to be a part of that one. That's not a good putt.
Although I have done that, so we've all been there.
Yep.
We've all done that many times. Well, yeah, I mean, you're obviously a icon of the game. I imagine you're pretty excited to be a part of this thing.
Yeah, this is fun. With when TGL kind of started up, it's probably a couple years, 3 years now since the idea and starting to move things forward. Being a part of something new and different, that's kind of that fits me. I feel like I like kind of doing new things and being a part of it. So, small group of guys, good crew, especially a lot of them being local friends. Why not have a glorified mega simulator and
crazy.
go try and
Right.
beat each other up?
Crazy in there.
Yeah.
Bro, you got like a 50% chance to get your season started off with a W.
Yeah. Basically,
Yeah.
You know?
it's coin flip.
That's what I'm saying. What a start to 2025 that would be.
No,
Hell yeah.
it'll be fun. We're hopefully going to get in here a couple more times before then. It does take a little bit of practice, and especially with the timing of how the matches flow. And it once you're in it, it's not bad. But the first couple holes we played the other night, like you have to be on top of it and kind of one shot ahead.
Yeah, we played
Totally.
a couple today.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize like, oh shit, you're kind of under the gun the whole time.
I had to hit the putt with 1 second left.
Shot
'cause
clock
we
is
were
the game
just
changer.
we were
Yeah.
talking too much, and I adjusted the line for a second, and it was over. It was like I got to go now
He also took time out on his first swing the whole time.
before the first swing. Yeah, So,
Well,
the moment was too
Only
big for
one
me.
left after that.
Yeah, it's true. And you're in New York. You're playing for New York. I'm a New York guy, so we'll be rooting for you hard.
No, it'll be fun.
New York fans will boo you though.
Oh,
if you don't
100%.
play well.
Yeah, we have obviously one local New Yorker on the team. The other three of us are hoping to earn some respect from the New York fans.
It's the Bronx cheers they call them.
Because the New York fans, luckily they've been great to me. I've always had great fans in New York, but they like to win, and that's it. So
We've had a lot of losing in New York.
Yeah.
It's not common for that that area. We've had a lot of losing.
Yeah.
Think about the Knicks, the Jets, the Islanders, the Rangers, the Yankees,
Giants.
the Mets, the Giants. We haven't won shit in years. Imagine you guys just bring back that. You guys should just bring the first championship back.
we'll see.
Well, WNBA
I mean,
just won, right?
we have
The Liberty.
to beat less teams than all those other ones, so
True.
better
True.
chance.
Yeah.
It's fair. You guys have like a chat going on with your rest of your squad already, like strategizing, talking about.
I don't know about strategizing yet. I mean, it's been more just coordinating when and how many can get in to go do some practice and whatnot.
Yeah.
Obviously, around the holidays, everyone's kind of all over, but we'll try and get in as a group of at least 3 or 4 another time, and then I'll try and come back solo and mess around. And I mean, it's a giant man cave in there if you like
It
golf.
really is.
We didn't want to
It's a
stop.
giant man cave.
We were
Yeah.
begging to keep going.
We got Wyndham Clark
Wyndham
up
Clark
next,
just
and he's
peeking
poked
in.
his head officially in the door.
Dub.
Yeah.
Well, I had spikes on, and I didn't want to mark up the floor, so
Consider it.
I always
Here we
knew
are.
he's a chill guy. He did it first interview.
Dad Rick.
Right here.
All right, Rick Fowler.
Hell yeah.
Rick Fowler.
We
That's-
appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
very
got it.
much. Appreciate you. Good luck with
Government
the,
names only.
Government names only. Start the season with a W.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I got to get that guy.
Yeah.
Come on
Dub.
now.
Start it with Dub.
Thank you, Rick.
All right.
All right,
Here,
thanks,
Rick.
man.
Thank
boys.
you.